So I have a video or two, and there's probably going to be more up about how weed is not anywhere near the potency that I was able to get a hold of via black market connections when I was a young working man just getting out of high school. I even worked while I was in high school, so I've been a working man my whole life. This whole homeless thing for 1 year is probably more, or no, this is probably equivalent to everybody's vacation time and everybody else I know. I knew a bunch of people that didn't work until after high school, so I've worked more than most people that got a job getting out of high school, and even if they still have a job and they've worked the whole time, I did over 100 hours a week for, what was it, like 6 months. And I've worked overtime almost the entire time. So in order for someone to work more than I did, especially selling weed, they would have to work overtime, at least starting right off the bat out of high school, and would have had to have maintained that work ethic up until today in order to outwork me, even though I've been homeless for about a year, a little more than a year and a half. So weed is nowhere near as potent. You used to be able to see the crystallization, the trichome forming on the crystal itself. You could see like this little bead droplet, looked like water was about to fall off your nug. It looked like your nug was equally wet all over with this sticky, clear, delicious THC-ness. You could see all the balls on all the trichomes ready to drip off. It was that intense. That is why I have the deepest love for marijuana that I have. It is intrinsically deep. Because the beauty of marijuana goes down to a micron level. It's just nothing but sheer, artful, raw, organic beauty from the moment you set your eyes on it until you zoom all the way down to a micron level. I promise you that it's nothing but symphonies of beautiful, geometric, natural formations. Guarantee it. If you find some bomb weed, guarantee. If you can see those dripping crystal trichomes on the outside of the nug before you even crack it open, and you don't have to crack it to smell it or nothing, if it looks like it's dripping with THC and like sticking to the bag, and you've got it in multiple stink-proof bags and you can still smell that stuff, that's what I used to get. That's not what you get at the weed store, because now all they have is blunts. People go and buy pre-rolls, and anytime they smoke them near me, all I smell is the paper burning. It's like, yo, I know it's cool to just smoke wherever you need to smoke, and it's funny that you smoked right next to me, and I'm getting a Jake break right now because they tell people to smoke as close to me as possible. They're like, take this blunt and go smoke right next to him. And what's funny is the deep state's idea is that they're going to smoke weed next to me, and I'm going to be like dying because there's some bomb weed being smoked right next to me, and I'm not a part of the circle, right? But it's not even like that. I'm sitting there going, yo, this kook woke me up to smoke some bunk right next to me, because if the deep state had it their way, they'd have somebody over here smoking fentanyl right on top of my lap. But they've backed off a little bit, and now they're just getting people to smoke legal marijuana that's mainly paper. It's like, that's what's funny with the legal marijuana stuff, is you got to be real careful what you buy. If you're over there buying pre-rolls, they're selling you high-priced rolling papers. You don't even smell the weed. You smell the papers over the weed. When you open the pre-roll up, you smell the paper. You're not even smelling the weed. That's the worst part. And I gotta make sure I'm recording here. So this gets really funny because I needed to cover that. That's a typical thing that happens with me. Now, in order to shut some of these people down, like as soon as I see that I have a regular person, it then becomes a game for me where I need to win. And I always find a way to win. I always do. And I know how to play this game that they've put me on, because they've put the Neuralink microchips in my nose, back of my head, my ears, maybe even in my shins, like that it can do this thing where my right foot has like a vein that feels like it's twitching, or it feels like there's a bug crawling up in my sock or like in my shoe or something. It's the same feeling every time. So now I know it's a remote control microwave or 5G, whatever the wavelength is, whatever the frequency of wave coming in, you know, because you want to trip me on what on the, you know, on the nomenclature, on the vocabulary for what to call the wavelength. It's like, look, there's a radio signal wavelength, a digital wavelength coming in and causing it. Whether you want to call it 5G, 4G, 3G, whether you want to call it Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, doesn't matter. They're all wavelengths. It's science. You're stupid if you're over there worried about what I'm calling it. It could be coming straight from the cell phone towers, or like the cell phone towers beam it through your cell phone. However it works, they do this stuff. So anyways, I know how to deal with this, and I know how to beat somebody smoking paper with a little bit of weed inside of it, sold as a pre-roll blunt or something like that. I bought them at first because I wanted to see like what a high dollar expensive shop blunt would be. You know, maybe you're in a pinch, you're walking around, you don't have a real connection, you go walk into a random shop, buy a blunt, and you don't have to like know a corner store to go to get the fresh blunt wrap. You don't have to know the guy with the bomb weed. You don't have to know the spot to smoke. You can kind of consolidate your efforts, go get a bomb blunt, and then you can make your smoking experience better because you didn't have to do all those errands, you know. But through experimenting with the rolled blunts, I quickly dropped them, went back to searching for the flower myself. Now I do dabs because I think the flower is garbage and the dabs are garbage. But if you need something potent, you got to go with dabs. It's quicker, it's faster, job done easier. I'd rather be on flower, to be honest. But I can beat somebody that's sitting there smoking papers next to me, because for one, I'm like, yo, you're coming over here making a point to make me smell your papers. I don't smell weed when you come over here. I never smell weed. It always smells like burning blunt wrap, not burning weed. So I'm like, I gotta shut this down, you know. I'm like, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll do something in the middle of the night when nobody is watching. Technically, nobody is paying attention, right? I'll tell you I have Neuralink and that they can see through my eyes and that they're watching whatever my eyes see. They don't need a camera. They don't need a lens. The lenses are your eyeballs. Once they give you the COVID vaccine or give you the chips, they only need one or the other in order to get the lens of your eye to work against you. You think this is crazy. You think I'm just pitching and reaching for something absolutely insane. Wait until someone you love is dealing with it. Just wait until you love the person that's saying this, or it's you. Wait until that happens. Because I know how to deal with it. I'm here trying to help you. You may already be dealing with it, you just don't know it. And as soon as you start tackling it in the way I tackle it, you'll see that it had already happened to you. So that's the even next step, is that they've already did this to you. You just don't know how to fight it. I know how to fight it, and that's the only reason they're fighting me, is because I know how to fight it. If I were to sit and tell you how to fight the demise of your own life, Deep State would show up the next minute and they'd be letting you know that they're stopping every effort of yours using your eyeballs, not your cell phone. They don't need your cell phone. They do it right through your own eyes. They can see through your eyes. So I beat this person. Somehow I'm in a new video.